Hello, Guilty Feminist. This is Deborah. Well, I have a very special episode for you. I got to go to Wilderness Festival and I got to do two incredible things. One, I did a podcast with the Circle, the global feminist NGO founded by Annie Lennox, bringing women and girls together to create real lasting change around the world. The second thing I got to do was host the main stage at Wilderness in the most rock and roll moment of my life. 30,000 people in the audience, some incredible artists on stage, all curated by Annie Lennox. And then Annie Lennox herself came on and sang her hits. And she even asked the rest of the artists and me, can you believe it, to come and be backing singers on Sisters. And I have to say, I got off the stage and said to Annie, I do see the appeal of being a rock star now, which made her laugh. It was extraordinary, the energy coming off that audience. I've never experienced anything like it, and I probably never will experience anything like it again. Seeing the power of music, the power of art, and the power of community at Wilderness Festival really was something. Now, you might have seen the T-shirts that say Global Feminist. That's the Circle. And the Circle works with women-led grassroots organisations, particularly in some of the world's most vulnerable communities, supporting everything from women's refuges and domestic abuse services to legal aid, advocacy and campaigns for women's rights. Something that the Circle does so well that I really admire is they go to communities and ask those communities what they need, and they're brilliant at supporting female entrepreneurs around the world in ways that they want to be supported. They let the communities lead and they empower the communities. I think it's such a brilliant NGO. And we saw lots of different sides of the Circle NGO at Wilderness. There was the Guilty Feminist show at the Atrium, an extraordinary long table dinner with the brilliant Andy Oliver, and as I said, the Sisters show on stage with some incredible women, and Benedict Wong, the Marvel actor, who read a beautiful, beautiful poem about men and emotion. Just the whole weekend was truly wonderful. I think Sisters may have been peak rock and roll of my life. I don't think I'll ever recover. So we were not able to record the rock concert, as you can imagine, but we had this gorgeous episode. Please imagine you're sitting on the grass under a canopy at a festival, people sitting nearby wearing fairy wings covered in glitter. That's what the sound's like. It's going to transport you to the festival if you weren't able to go. It's me, Raakhi, who is the CEO of the Circle NGO, and Sukhi, who is one of their incredible partners. I'll let them explain more in the podcast who they are and what they do. If you listen to it and you move by it, then please go to thecircle.ngo and click on how to get involved. You can see there how you can join the network, Solidarity in Action, how you can donate, all sorts of things. Please get involved because really what they're doing is global feminism. And now, on to the podcast. Live from the Wilderness Festival in association with the Circle NGO, the Spontaneity Shop presents The Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Frances-White, and my very special guests, Raakhi Shah and Sukhi Kaur, talking about the Circle. Hello, hello, hello. So give me a cheer. Give me a cheer if you know what the Guilty Feminist is and you listen at home. Give us a cheer if you don't know what you're at. Excellent. More people don't know what they're at, and that's because it's a festival, and this is mainly a place for shade. So you've come here for shade because your children cannot stand the bright sunshine anymore. The price for that is feminism will be inflicted upon you. And I can only apologise, but I am in fact a global feminist. This is the brand of the Circle, who are our incredible guests today. The Guilty Feminist, if you don't know what it is, it's a podcast, and a podcast is radio that nobody stops you making. You think they're going to come around and say enough, the series is cancelled, but they never do, because they can't. That's why women do podcasts so much. The normal channels might be closed down to us, but not podcasting. So I'm very delighted to have the Circle on today. This is their slogan, Global Feminist. Just give us a cheer if you would call yourself a global feminist. Give us a cheer if you remain a skeptic to feminism. That's okay too. 1, 2, 3. There's just one man, and what a brave man, because he's cheered like this. Yeah! Which I find delightful, because I always think if I was at a men's rights activist conference, I'd probably just be like, I won't say anything. I won't say anything. The confidence is admirable. We hope to win you over, sir. And anybody else who's going, oh, maybe. I'm a feminist but is our little slogan where we confess things that aren't very feminist. And I'm a feminist but I enjoyed coming backstage where we all had to get prepped and seeing lots of young men having to wear these T-shirts because they were part of the crew. And it was clear they were having to wear the T-shirts, and some of them probably wanted to. But I saw somebody say, if you're part of this crew, are you not wearing a Global Feminist T-shirt? And he went, I've got one, I just haven't put it on yet. And I did enjoy that moment very much. He was just like, oh, I've just been hired to carry things, and now I've got to say I'm a Global Feminist. You're in the T-shirts. Are you Global Feminist fans? Are you Circle fans? Yes, excellent. If you haven't got a T-shirt yet, you can buy them, and it goes to an incredible cause. So, just, do you know what the theme of the whole festival is? It's the Bureau of Lost Things. That's the fancy dress theme. Has anyone come in fancy dressed as a lost thing? Anyone seen a lost thing? Yes? What's yours? What did you see? Oh! Are you a Bureau of Lost Things thing? What are you, if it's okay to ask? A kilt? And look, it looks like you've dressed out of the attic. That's all I'm going to say. But as women, we've lost quite a lot of things over the years, freedoms, but we've also found things that we didn't have before in terms of power. And so I'm excited today to see which lost things we might reclaim for the future. So are you ready to start the show? Excellent. Okay, our first guest, with nearly 2 decades of experience in international development at UNICEF UK and Oxfam, she officially took the helm of the Circle just as the COVID-19 pandemic began. The easiest time to take over from other people, I believe. And although she has been involved with the organisation since its inception 17 years ago, this is when she really took the helm. She has dedicated her career to fighting for women's rights and creating opportunities for marginalised communities worldwide. Please welcome to the stage the CEO of the Circle. It's Raakhi Shah. Thank you for joining us. Come take a seat. Joining her is activist and charity lead for the Sikh Women's Aid. She's a Circle partner organisation. She runs the Circle partner organisation. Put your hands together for Sukhi Kaur. Hello, come and take a seat. So we do our feminist confessions at the beginning. Anybody from a Catholic background in? Just give us a cheer if you were raised Catholic. So did you have to go to confessional? Just cheer if you had to go to confessional. So you'll get it. It's like that. We confess things. We say, I'm a feminist but, and we confess things. So mine is, for example, I'm a feminist but I needed new headshots for comedy performing. And I showed my husband a picture and went, does this look a bit Dove campaign for real beauty? And he said, no, darling, you look lovely. And I thought, well, that campaign's failed. I don't want real beauty. I don't want Dove beauty. I want actual billboard beauty. Have you got an I'm a feminist but, Raakhi?
I do. Okay, I'm going to read mine out because I'll have a little think about it. So, I'm feminist but every year I buy numerous thought-provoking feminist books. Who else does this? That I imagine I'll read while sipping coffee and expanding my understanding of structural inequality. I actually have my pile of books here, which I haven't read, but what actually happens is that I read a novel where the heroine moves to a windswept coastal village, opens a bakery, falls in love with a grumpy fishman, and somehow solves all his problems through sourdough. I don't know what that says about me. Probably that dismantling patriarchy is exhausting and sometimes your feminism needs a beach read. Anyone with me on that?
Yes. It's a hefty bag of feminist books Raakhi's brought to show us.
Anyway,
a weighty bag. I'm the same. I'm a feminist but
sometimes I sit down to watch my friend's documentary on the suffragettes, but accidentally do a marathon of Say Yes to the Dress. It's a binge watch of Say Yes to the Dress. There's nothing like it. Sukhi?
Yes, so for me, I am a feminist, but on a Sunday afternoon, I love getting my laundry basket and ironing. I love to frolic in the smell of Mrs. Hinch-inspired Spring Awakening by Lenore, and I will push my family and my children to one side and say, right, it's time for me and my ironing basket. Now, I know I'm not alone on this. I know that there are women who hate ironing.
I'm not convinced that you're not alone.
No. I know you're all there. Don't let me down now. Where are my fellow ironers in the audience today? Thank you.
Okay, there are a few women cheering. If your favourite smell is Lenore's Spring Awakening, give us a cheer.
Woo!
Oh, here you go. Front row right there. Front row. I haven't ironed anything since the 90s. Okay. I'm sorry, Sukhi, but there's more people with me. There's more women with me. I'm just like, you have to get out a whole board. I don't know.
I change my cover every 3 months with the seasons to kind of keep me going in the flow. So
listen, if you really love that smell so much, come round to my house and do my laundry. I'm loving this. I think, listen, as a fetish, it's a great one to have because you'll be always sorted. I'm a feminist, but did you hear Annie Lennox before doing her sound check? And you know, Annie Lennox founded this charity, this foundation, the Circle. When she was doing her sound check, I was backstage getting my hair done and I was singing sisters doing it for themselves. And I must tell you, because I'm hosting the main stage later on when she's introducing all the musicians and she's going to sing all her hits. Raakhi, I think it was you said, and when Annie's singing Sisters, all the artists come back on and sing with her, and Annie would love you to come on as well. And I said, oh my God, I must learn all the words. And she said, no, don't worry. Annie sings the verse, you just sing the chorus. And I said, we'll see. I mean, how are you going to stop me? I'm going to be up there. I'm just imagining myself on that stage, like Donald Trump getting into the Spain football photo at the World Cup. Did you see that? Where the head of FIFA came along and apparently there was a lip reading expert who said to him, Donny, this is their moment. We've just got to let them get a photo. And he said, I'll be fine. No, I'm fine, thanks. And he stayed in the photo. But they photoshopped him out, so there is one good use of AI. So, Raakhi, for those who don't know who the Circle are, why are you the main partner charity for Wilderness?
Thanks, Deborah. So we're all over the site. We've got our Circle tent just over there. And thank you, Wilderness, for inviting us to be the main charity partner this year. The Circle is now 18 years old. And in that time, we have supported 1.5 million people on women's rights. We are a global feminist... Woo! Yes! We are a global feminist organisation. Can you tell whether we're a global feminist organisation?
We look like we're in a girl band with all these different coloured T-shirts that say the same thing.
So it was founded by the brilliant Annie Lennox, who felt like that global women's rights needed a stronger spotlight all those years ago, and how right she was. And our mission and vision is to support women and have safety and equality all around the world, particularly in some of the most vulnerable countries that don't have a safety net. We support grassroots organisations, women-led grassroots organisations in their communities, supporting women who face violence or economic inequality. And we support those organisations through things like hotlines, counselling. You'll hear more from Sukhi in a minute, who represents one of our partners, with psychosocial support, with getting back on their feet if they've suffered violence and need a helping hand. So everything you have done as being part of Wilderness and this brilliant community has supported those women around the world this weekend.
So you've already been feminist today and you didn't even realise, because by coming to Wilderness you have supported the Circle. Well done. Round of applause for you. Do either of you have any stories that would bring to life what the Circle does in the real world? Sukhi, any stories about what does the Circle do?
I think for us, the Circle were the first people to believe in the missions and values of Sikh Women's Aid. So we were a bunch of 4 women around a circle-led table in our favourite Punjabi restaurant in the middle of Great Bar in the West Midlands. And we just knew something had to change. It was lockdown. We'd seen some horrible things happen. We didn't exactly know what we wanted to do, but we had a vision to make sure women had choices, women had options for a better life. And the Circle were actually the first organisation to believe and help us bring that vision to life. So when I think of the Circle, I think of people gathering around a table and having those honest discussions that people seem to be having on our behalf when it should be us having them. So that's what the Circle means to me.
Wonderful.
I'm going to read you. So one of the organisations we support is in Rwanda, and it supports women who faced violence, intimate partner violence, and this brilliant organisation in eastern Rwanda called Our Sisters Opportunity offer counselling, safe spaces and training for women to get back on their feet. And this is the story from a lady called Ernestine, who we've supported before, and she asked me to read this out this weekend. So it says, "Dear everyone, upon admission to the programme, we were reminded that we are valued and we can become great women entrepreneurial leaders. I set a goal that I would be one of the most famous tailors in the district and committed to offer jobs to at least 3 other women. Through Our Sisters Opportunity, we have been provided not only with training, but also knowledge on gender-based violence. This is when I realised that I'd been facing violence for a long time. I had a chance to meet the psychologist who helped me realise my mental health issues and accompanied me on a journey of healing. Upon graduation, Our Sisters Opportunity gave us startup capital, which I used to buy my first sewing machine. I now run a thriving tailoring business. I'm able to pay for my children's school fees, get basic needs, and save regularly every week. I no longer feel less. I am a strong, capable woman thriving to pave the ways for my fellow women to rise by creating jobs and connecting them to possible opportunities. I am walking proof that investing in women and girls creates lasting change and lays the foundation for broader social and economic justice. I am forever honoured to be part of this incredible network, the Circle. With heartfelt thanks, Ernestine."
Yay, that's so nice. It's incredible. It's such a power to support someone to live their dreams and to support someone to support their family and their community. It's incredible. Times are tough for women. Progress is under threat. In what ways are you seeing that at the moment?
So, I think we can all see it with the rollback of rights everywhere. We've got the march of the far right progressing very, very quickly. Some of the statistics show that over the last 10 years, £10 billion of funding has gone to anti-far rights, all dark, hidden money, and we can see the impact already on the rollback of abortion rights in the US, and very quickly coming here. So for us, this is about inspiring people who want to take action. You're all here, part of this incredible community. Some of you might have been on the incredible London March against the anti-rights. There was 250,000 people, and how hopeful and incredible it was.
It was amazing that day.
It was brilliant. And for us, it's about not just protecting the rights of women that have been hard won for many, many decades, but it's also about them pushing them further, because you've got your sisters, your daughters, your mothers, all, with you. And we've got women in Afghanistan who can't even sing, who can't even go to school. We want absolutely the same joy for them. So that's what we're trying to do, is trying to fight back and push back on those rights.
And doing it very well. How does the Circle bring positivity and energy into this? Because it's a tough time, but you are bringing positivity and energy.
So thank you, Deborah. Being at places like this is like a great example of being in places where people are at home, having community, having joy, and wanting to do some activism as well. So today at Wilderness, I talked about our Circle tent, and please go and buy T-shirts and other things after. But later on in the evening, our founder Annie Lennox is going to be taking over and curating the main stage with a brilliant lineup of female artists, and we hope that will bring you all some joy, will bring us together as feminists and activists, and inspire us to take things forward for change.
All great leaders are storytellers. A manager can tell you what to do, but a leader tells you the story of how things can be. There are no great leaders who aren't shaping a vision, and a vision is a story of the future. We have never needed leaders more because the world has never been a more uncertain place. I'm hearing from businesses all the time now, we don't know what this industry, this business, this project is going to look like in 5 years' time. We've no way of knowing. And that means the world is hungry for leaders, hungry for people who can tell a story of what the future might look like. Now, you might say, I'm not a storyteller, I'm not creative. I'm going to ask you this. Do you worry? Do you have anxiety about the future? Because if so, you're a storyteller. Worry is just your brain offering you a story for free. Anxiety is your subconscious writing a story for you. It's not that great leaders don't worry. Of course they do. But great leaders don't say that's the end of the story. They say there's a bigger story than that, a better story than that. To do this, you need to be able to tell really good stories. You need to be able to understand how stories work. You need to be able to take them apart and put them back together. The Storytelling Leadership Academy is an online program of seminars, coaching, resources for leaders who need to find their voice and tell their story. To find out more and to book your place, go to the-spontaneity-shop.com or just click the link in the show notes. The course starts on the 28th of September and places are limited.
How can we all be a hopeful part of this positive wave of feminism? There are people here who are looking at you on the stage and going, oh, well, you're the CEO of the Circle. What can I do?
Lots of easy things you can do. So sometimes we do it as if you've got money but no time, or if you've got no time but money, like what are the things that you can do? So obviously if you've got a bit of cash in your pockets or on your plastic, please kind of donate to us, because that is where the funds are going to really help women on the ground. This weekend, all funds are being doubled. So if you give £25, it'll be doubled to £50. Like, it's incredible. So up to £10,000. But if you've got, you might be kind of cash poor, but, got time on your hands. What about doing a challenge? There's people here that are marathon runners. There might be like getting your friends around the table to have dinner and raise money. But one of the most powerful things you can also do, which is really easy, is write to your MP. We've had a bit of political turmoil, do you think? A little
yes,
bit?
Every time I turn around, there's a new Prime Minister. I'm thinking, should we try eHarmony? Because it's a significant turnaround. But yeah, absolutely. Write to your MP, assuming they are staying around for the next 3 weeks, and there's not going to be a by-election near you. And we'll talk at the end too about more calls to action. Right now, Sukhi, we want to talk about issues, allyship, action. How is the far right weaponising violence against women for its own gains, and why is this so dangerous?
I think the most obvious one that we're all seeing right now is that how some women matter. Some perpetrators are apparently the worst perpetrators of all. But all of us with any sense of common sense know that violence against women and girls, people who engage in harmful behaviours, they affect every community, every culture, every religion. we sit here as those who fight our own community, the bad ones in our own community, like every other community does. And this is the thing that can genuinely unite us against the far right, because these people, their success relies in dividing us. I have always believed in the power of humanity, the power of people, the power of women. We are one, and we are at our best, we are at our strongest when we're seeing the nonsense that's thrown to us through our screens and our TVs, and we have a choice to reject that. Because when we go out onto our streets, I'm going to share a funny story now. So my next door neighbour put the England flag up, the United Kingdom flag up for the football. Bless her, she came and knocked on my door and went, Sukhi, I'm only putting the flag up for the football. I hope you won't take offence. And my response was, but Sheila, I'm putting my flag up as well because we're supporting England.
Yes.
And it was just that humanness in that conversation. She had to double think her choice about putting up that England flag. But the fact that she came and spoke to me about it, and we were actually doing the same thing, that shows community and it shows society at its very best. So for me, the far right is only as dangerous as our inaction to what they are doing. And our strength lies in our solidarity in our collective society. I'm so proud to be British. I'm so proud to be Sikh. And I'm so proud to be a female. And that is the thing that unites us all.
There's a narrative at the moment that violence against women and girls, which is a horrific problem, and as feminists we're constantly fighting it. There's a narrative at the moment that somehow if somebody is an immigrant or from an immigrant heritage, that they will be more likely to hurt women and girls, and there's no statistical evidence for this at all.
No.
And how do we fight that idea? Because if anything, there are, like in Northern Ireland, when there was that horrible outbreak where people were being chased out of their houses, and I looked at the stats, and actually the immigrants were, because there's so few immigrants in Northern Ireland, but immigrants and people of an immigrant heritage were underrepresented in crime. But that narrative needs to be fought.
It does.
It needs to be fought, and we need to. I just sometimes think that the algorithm is fighting us on these things, because the algorithm is telling such a powerful, potent story, and we do not own the algorithm. Is there anything we can do?
Well, just on your point, it is 1 in 3 women around the world that will face violence in their lifetime. So it's not, that's just across the board. So it is a global problem. It's a problem everywhere. But what we found as well, being here, is that allyship is hugely profound. Like, we've had so many men coming up to our Circle tent. We've had loads of teenage men coming up. Everybody wants pink. We've sold out pink, so if you want a pink, you're going to have to go soon. But it's been incredible to have that dialogue with people, and I think that sometimes people feel scared to say it, but this feels like an incredibly safe community here to have that allyship, and what a kudos to everybody that's come.
And if you're feeling a bit like, well, I would never do anything like that, we know that.
Yeah.
We know it's not all men. 100% of the men that I've been alone with haven't killed me. Like, I know that. Doesn't mean they haven't killed anyone, but it does mean that men are my friends, my family members. Some of my favourite husbands are straight white men. It's we love you, we want you in our community,
Yeah.
but the men who do hurt women and children, they truly do believe that all men do it or are not, quote unquote, man enough to do it. That's true. Like, that when they try and rehabilitate men, they truly believe all men do it or want to do it. So it's other men you need to tell, hey, this is not normal, this is not all men. And when I heard Nigel Farage talking about, do you know Rob Kenyon? He was the candidate for Makerfield, and he'd said some really nasty things about women, and he'd sexually harassed Carol Vorderman online. And Nigel Farage went, oh, you'll hear laddish banter like that in every pub of this country tonight. And I thought, I've never heard men talk like that. Maybe they do when I'm not there. But we went around pubs and we vox popped men and said, what do you think about what Rob Kenyon said? And to a man, every man went, I think it's disgusting. No, we don't talk like that. That'd be weird. So I do think men, the best way you can ally is to tell other men, if you hear kind of jokes that objectify women, or you hear men talking about women in a way, is to tell them that's not normal, that's not all men. And to start discussions about emotion with men and how they're feeling. Because I think often men kind of get left out of the cold, because I know from what my husband talks about, when you go out together to, like, I don't know, he goes and plays pool with a man and he comes home and I say, oh, how's Jack? He goes, yeah, good. And I go, how's the divorce? And he goes, oh, I don't know, it didn't come up. And I'm like, you were there for 4 hours. What do you mean it didn't come up? He's like, well, he didn't bring it up and I didn't bring it up, so it didn't come up. I said, what do you talk about? He's at pool. I'm like, no, that's what you're doing, Tom. That's not what you're talking about. And I go, what else did you talk about? He says, Doctor Who. You guys need flashcards getting you to bring up, how are you? How are you feeling? Are you feeling alienated? Are you feeling connected? Are you in a community? We really do need to start some more grassroots projects for men, I think. Because it helps men feel part of this community. Can I ask how Sikh Women's Aid is responding to this climate?
We respond in the way that we always respond. Yes, you are scared in the outset, but we're like, no way are we going to allow these narratives to win. So the first thing we did was we pulled out our tables, 10 of them. We invited 100 women into a room, into an open meeting. We made safety guides. We gave out safety alarms. We gave out safety whistles. These are all available free on our websites. We've gone around the West Midlands at community events like this to have those conversations, to say, do not fear these people, and stand up and make sure whatever engagement you are part of, you are walking away from it safe. It is okay to walk away from someone who is trying to engage you into some sort of racist or a very uncomfortable conversation. We do need to have some uncomfortable conversations, but those can be done with humility. They can be done with kindness, like we did. And we do this nationally. We do not shy away from the problem. We tackle it head on. Something you mentioned earlier is that we have fought as women so hard for the freedoms that we have today. And I will be damned before any group of anything rolls back on those freedoms. Women have given their lives, from the suffragettes to Sophia Dalip Singh in the Sikh history. Women have given their lives so women like us today can enjoy the freedoms. I will not allow those sacrifices to be in vain, and neither should all of us.
Absolutely. And there's a genuine move in the United States of America now to take the vote away from women. They want to take the vote away from women and give it to the family, but they say in a Christian family, the man should have the vote. And that is a genuine, real movement. It's been on primetime television among Christian nationalists, and we need to realise, as you say, women have died for this. We cannot just allow ourselves to lose it just because we're scrolling. Like, the phone is just an instrument of distraction, and I feel like the guys who invented it and create the algorithm aren't doing it to give us more power and more autonomy and more democracy. So we've got to be really careful about it. How are you supported by the Circle, and what difference does it make, Sukhi?
So as a small West Midlands-based grassroots charity, like I said, the Circle, one of our first funders, they gave us the confidence to know that people believed in our vision. So with the Circle with us since 2021, they provided funding for our first ever South Asian multilingual domestic abuse support worker. So wow. These people go to courts, they will hold their hands, they will listen to them, whatever they need, whatever grants and funding we can apply for them. And more recently, it's been our counselling project. And we've been working with an amazing woman who was subjected to a very, very horrific attack. She's been with us for 11 weeks, and the funding from the Circle has meant she's accessed trauma-informed therapy in her own language here in the UK. We've also, through the Circle, she was a fashion designer before her assault. And she said in one of her sessions, I forgot what a talented fashion designer I am. So some of that funding we were able to use to buy her first industrial sewing machine. And now she's on Canva making little leaflets and cards. It's the first step of her healing, because it's so important to remind a woman, you are not what happened to you. You are everything before, during and after that event. And without the circle and that trust in us to deliver that work, that wouldn't have happened. And success stories, like, obviously I can't go into too much detail because of confidentiality, but if it wasn't for the circle's funding and that belief in the vision that we had at that grassroots level, that woman wouldn't have now be on Canva at 11 o'clock at night sending me pictures saying, what do you think of this leaflet? Do you think it's okay to send out? This woman couldn't leave her front door 6 weeks ago. So that's the difference incredible. Of having an amazing partner like the Circle.
That's incredible.
I would say that every single women's organisations we support, every grassroots organisation was founded by a trailblazing, formidable woman who has suffered at the hands of violence or discrimination, and they have risen above it to set up these incredible programmes and organisations in their community. And as soon as they do that in some of these countries, whether it's South Sudan, whether it's Afghanistan, as soon as they put their head above the parapet, it is the behest of their own safety. We have got stories of these leaders and of, being followed in cars, having to get out, go into villages, change their clothes, come back in, get in the car. We've had stories of some of these women having to put panic alarms in their houses, and they carry on going. That bravery is amazing, and the least we can do is support them in whatever small or large way we can.
It's very satisfying to hear what the Circle's doing. It really, really is. Can I ask you, Sukhi, about the man whose mind you changed? Because I think this is a really powerful story.
It was. So like many women's organisations, we have an Instagram page. And when you're a small grassroots organisations like ours, you are the CEO, you write the posts, you're doing the admin, you're checking the emails. So I have the duty at 11 o'clock at night onwards. And there was this one man over 18 months, and he was like, you effing feminists, you hate men. And I was like, we don't. Why do you think that? Have we put something on our page that's made you feel that way? And he went quiet for 2 months. Then he popped back and he goes, I don't like what you've put. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but maybe I'll give you some context to it. We've had this back and forward for 18 months, and 2 weeks ago, out of the blue, I get a message saying, hey sis, I've been following you guys for 18 months now. And can I say I'm so sorry for misjudging you. The work you do is amazing. So when we got the angry Asian man on side to apologise, he apologised, and then he congratulated us on the work. I'm not going to lie, I was sobbing into my pillow at 1:45 that morning, because I was like, wow, I was not expecting that category of man to come on side. But that is the power of collective community, collective consciousness, the power to change and influence minds with facts, with the truth, with reality.
It really, really is. I had a man called Lawrence write to me once and said, I started listening to you because I thought I should see what the enemy is up to. But 18 months later, you've worn me down. He said, I do other everyone who isn't a white straight man. I thought, other is a verb. He's going really well. And he said, what you say still annoys me at times, but keep saying it because it is working. And I just thought, it's amazing. And I wrote back and said, why did you keep listening for 18 months? And he went, well, it was funny. And some of the jokes were about people like me, but it made me laugh, so I kept listening. And I think sometimes being entertaining, drawing people in, not telling people off all the time does work. And I'm delighted to hear that. So we've got to finish up, but what can and should we take away from this podcast? What actions can we take? Anything you want these people to go away and do?
I want to see a wave of global feminist t-shirts at 6:30 tonight on front of the main stage. How amazing would that be to all be together like that? So it's literally just there. I can see it. So it's like
Where is it?
the Circle tent, just there, behind that red flag, and maybe another 100 metres.
Okay, 100 metres away, there's the Circle merch tent, and you can go over there, you can get a tote bag, you can get one of Annie Lennox's amazing art books. It's a retrospective of her career. That book is a really beautiful gift for somebody, but there's signed copies, aren't there?
There's signed copies.
So you could get those for gifts. There's nothing lovelier than a signed book, and you could put up the top, "Dear Auntie Mary." She won't know Annie didn't write that pun. It's such a great gift, and the books fit inside the tote bags. If not, buy a t-shirt, go on the website and just donate some cash. It really, really helps. Or Raakhi's already told you how you can get involved if you have less money but more time. And open these conversations. Ask your husband, your dad, your brother, your friends, would you consider yourself to be a global feminist, and go get those conversations going. If you could sign up to subscribe to the Guilty Feminist podcast, that would really help us out as well. If you rate, review and subscribe, it helps the podcast keep going. In the meantime, can I please, please, please have a big round of applause for Raakhi Shah, Sukhi Kaur, and I will be at the main stage tonight emceeing Annie Lennox's sister shows. You're going to meet a lot of new musicians you've never seen before. You're going to hear Annie's hits. So please, please come over and join us. That's going to be a rocking good time. In the meantime, you have been listening to The Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Frances-White, and our very special guests, Raakhi Shah and Sukhi Kaur, from the wonderful Circle NGO. See you on the main stage later for Annie Lennox. For more information about this and other episodes, visit guiltyfeminist.com. I've been Deborah Frances-White. Goodbye.
You have been listening to The Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Frances-White, and my very special guests, Raakhi Shah and Sukhi Kaur. The Guilty Feminist theme tune was composed by Mark Hodge. The producer was Tom Salinsky for the Spontaneity Shop. Thanks to Gina Decio, Zainab Mohammed, Nell Bevan, and everyone at the Wilderness Festival, as well as all of you for listening. For more information about this and other episodes, visit guiltyfeminist.com.